Jeff Katz, former mayor of Cooperstown, baseball historian, person who maybe wants to remember some guys.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. The gum is stuck to Dick Tidrow's card. I want to make sure that everybody sees that.
We should keep that on.
I think that we may not have a choice in that.
Tidrow's claim to fame is the mustache,
which you can see.
And the nickname Dirt. Who is next to him?
Like Lee Elia or somebody? It's like a guy on another team.
I'll tell you who it is.
Who is it?
It's Ted Kluszewski.
I take your word for it. Here's anybody that cares about baseball would remember. It's Willie Stargell.
So it's interesting. The guys who are the most famous are probably the hardest to come up with a story. But
Yeah.
I will say this, and they're probably contemporaries now. But when I was a kid, the Stargell windmill with the bat, I'm not doing it well.
Yep.
That was a signature stickball, wiffle ball move.
Yeah. I was a
Those are
Darryl
the-
Strawberry type.
Nice.
Which is an amazing swing for...
The loping.
Yeah. That's why my baseball career topped out at AA when I was 16. Our first manager card, one of the all-time crappy things to pull out of a pack of baseball cards. Chuck Tanner.
When he managed the White Sox in the early 70s and was managing, they came in second to the A's in 71. And then Dick Allen had that monster year in 72 and was treated differently by Chuck Tanner, which caused issues. And they're like, why does he get special treatment? They're like, when you do what Dick Allen does, you'll
Right,
get special
really,
treatment
really
from
good.
me too. So I think he understood how to deal with stars.
One of our first modern managers. Here is Gene Richards.
Gene Richards, I remember for being way better than he probably was. You look at like the late 70s Padres, or at least I look at them when I remember some guys. Winfield, Ozzie.
I'm so happy that they are still wearing the taco brown
That is a sharp
motif.
look.
Here you can see that is definitely, it's takeout, basically. Like, that you can unwrap that and you can eat it right in your car or on the go, wherever you are. Here's Rod Scurry, who I remember because he had
he
that
dead?
coat. He, I believe, was a troubled guy and I think is
He
possibly
might
dead.
be dead.
We'll check that out.
I hate to be crass about that. But
This is a weird photo of him because
tall, skinny mustache
there's
guys.
a lot of spectators in the background of that.
It's like some pirate fan club. They're like wearing World Series champs. There's half a woman's chest.
Yeah,
here.
and a child's
It's odd.
head.
Yeah.
Strange. Here's Jim Barr.
Jim Barr was solid. I mean, he pitched for the Giants. Jim Barr had a very famous moment with Frank Robinson, probably in '78. There was a whole to-do on the mound where he wouldn't give Robinson the ball, and so maybe he came back to the Giants that year or something. But I always
Robinson
think of him
would
as a
have been managing-
persnickety dude.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with that memory. I'll fit where to place it
I've
in
done
time,
that with so many
but I'm
different
sticking
things.
with it.
Man, if Dan Pasqua ever saw these, he'd be astonished by all the shit I made up about him.
I assume you know the Dan Pasqua story.
That's...
My version is probably even shorter than yours, which is there was some dude who portrayed himself as Dan Pasqua when Pasqua came up with the Yankees and just got free Italian food in New Jersey.
See, I also remembered it as Italian food. It was he got a woman to buy him a Pontiac Fiero. That's very different. Here's John Grubb. Looking like he knows something.
We were just talking about John Grubb. I don't
Where
remember
were
why.
you that you were talking about John Grubb?
This is what happens when you live in Cooperstown and you have a lot of spare time. He ended up, I think he was on the '84 Tigers.
He
when
was.
they won.
That I remember.
But he was like, I bet he's one of those guys who was like the Padres' lone all-star one year.
Yeah.
I would almost guarantee that.
I would imagine it's 1970.
But his name is Grubb, too.
Yeah, I would say it's a kind of badass name. It's a very, so unappealing last name.
It's unappealing. But I like the idea of Grubb in the same pack as Dirt.
Yeah.
I just dislodged the gum. So
What? Pete Redfern, who I remember most as the star of the children's book Where the Red Fern Grows, which I loved very much as a child.
But he was a starting pitcher,
Yep,
right?
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Were
make
you?
1 year.
You weren't.
Yeah. That's about all there is to probably say about Pete
I don't
Redfern.
know, there's a lot. There's a whole, all right.
Perfectly remembered pack.
Thank you. I didn't eat gum. I might eat it later.
You can have some.
I
if you
might
want.
take one for the road.
All right, cool. Enjoy it. You've earned it.
I feel I have.